Today I'm going to read that letter from the fallen Union soldier from the Civil War. He's a black soldier who, at the end of his letter, you'll hear, he's served a country that he believed hated him. Here's the background for today's letter, which is February 20th, 2026. James Henry Gooding to President Abraham Lincoln. James Henry Gooding lived from 1837 to 1864. He was a corporal in the 54th Massachusetts Infantry who died in a Confederate prison after his capture in the battle at Olustee in Florida. He wrote this letter to President Lincoln to protest the Militia Act of July 1862, which set a black soldier's pay at $7 a month plus $3 for clothing, compared with the $13 monthly pay and $3.50 clothing allowance for white soldiers. Now for the letter. At the top, it says Morris Island, South Carolina. It's dated September 28, 1863. Your Excellency will pardon the presumption of a humble individual like myself in addressing you. But the earnest solicitation of my comrades in arms, besides the genuine interest felt by myself in the matter, is my excuse for placing before the executive head of the nation our common grievance. On the 6th of the last month, the paymaster of the department informed us that if we would decide to receive the sum of $10 per month, he would come and pay us that sum, but that on the sitting of Congress, the regiment would, in his opinion, be allowed the other three. He did not give us any guarantee that this would be, as he hoped. Certainly, he had no authority for making any such guarantee, and we cannot suppose him acting in any way interested. Now, the main question is, are we soldiers or are we laborers? We are fully armed and equipped, have done all the various duties pertaining to a soldier's life, have conducted ourselves to the complete satisfaction of general officers who were, if any, prejudiced against us, but who now accord us all the encouragement and honor due us, have shared the perils and labor of reducing the first stronghold that flaunted a traitor flag, and more, Mr. President. Today, the Anglo-Saxon mother, wife, or sister are not alone in tears for departed sons, husbands, and brothers. The patient, trusting descendants of Africa's clime have dyed the ground with blood in defense of the Union and democracy. Men too, Your Excellency, who know in a measure the cruelties of the iron heel of oppression, which in years gone by, the very power their blood is now being spilled to maintain, ever ground them to the dust. But when the war trumpet sounded o'er the land, when men knew not the friend from the traitor, the black man laid his life at the altar of the nation, and he was refused. When the arms of the Union were beaten in the first year of the war, and the executive called more food for its ravaging maw, again the black man begged the privilege of aiding his country in her need, to be again refused. And now he is in the war. And how has he conducted himself? Let their dusky forms rise up out the mires of James Island and give the answer. Let the rich mold around Wagner's parapets be upturned, and there will be found an eloquent answer. Obedient and patient, and solid as a wall are they. All we lack is a paler hue and a better acquaintance with the alphabet. Now, Your Excellency, we have done a soldier's duty. Why can't we have a soldier's pay? You caution the rebel chieftain that the United States knows no distinction in her soldiers. She insists on having all her soldiers, of whatever creed or color, to be treated according to the usages of war. Now, if the United States exacts uniformity of treatment of her soldiers from the insurgents, would it not be well and consistent to set the example herself by paying all her soldiers alike? We of this regiment were not enlisted under any contraband act, but we do not wish to be understood as rating our service of more value to the government than the service of the ex-slave. Their service is undoubtedly worth much to the nation, but Congress made express provision touching their case, as slaves freed by military necessity and assuming the government to be their temporary guardian. Not so with us. Free men by birth, and consequently having the advantage of thinking and acting for ourselves, so far as the laws would allow us. We do not consider ourselves fit subjects for the Contraband Act. We appeal to you, sir, as the executive of the nation, to have us justly dealt with. The regiment do pray that they be assured their service will be fairly appreciated by paying them as American soldiers. Soldiers is all capitalized. Not as menial hirelings. Black men, you may well know, are poor. $3 per month for a year will supply their needy wives and little ones with fuel. If you, as Chief Magistrate of the nation, will assure us of our whole pay, we are content. Our patriotism, our enthusiasm will have a new impetus to exert our energy more and more to aid our country. Not that our hearts ever flagged in devotion, spite the evident apathy displayed in our behalf. But we feel as though our country spurned us. Now we are sworn to serve her. Please give this a moment's attention. James Henry Gooding. Now, did you listen to his last couple sentences there? I'm going to read them again. Not that our hearts ever flagged in devotion, spite the evident apathy displayed in our behalf, but we feel as though our country spurned us. Now we are sworn to serve her. Not considered human, considered property, not considered worthy of nothing, but we need you to serve in our army, but we're not going to pay you the same as any other soldier. Even though the commander-in-chief is saying any soldier is a soldier. Think about that. How would you feel if that was you or somebody you knew? Yeah. Rest in peace, rest in power, rest in heaven. James Henry Gooding. Your words live on. And thank you for your service and for the ultimate sacrifice. If you enjoy hearing these true letters, real words from people in history, Black Americans, join the community. Till tomorrow. Bye.